In the fall of 2017, CNN, believe it or not, ran a pretty interesting piece on its website. It was the story of a pizza delivery driver from Dearborn Heights, Michigan called Khalil Abu Rayyan. At the age of 21, Rayyan found himself deeply depressed and contemplating suicide, pouring out his feelings to strangers on the internet. He posted pictures of himself with a rifle and suggested he might want to wage jihad. When he did that, out of the blue, he got a response from a woman he'd never heard of called Ghada. The two never actually met in person, but over time, a very intense relationship developed. Ghada professed her love for Rayyan. They courted online for weeks. Then, one day, Ghada stopped writing. She simply disappeared. A new woman took her place and began texting Rayyan too. This woman's name was Jannah. Jannah wasn't interested in romance. She wanted to wage violent jihad. She told Rayyan that if he planned to kill himself, he should take out some infidels along with him. When it's jihad, or when it's based on our creed or for a cause, that's the only time Allah allows it, she wrote. Eventually, Rayyan admitted to Jannah that he had fantasized about killing people in the church near his pizza shop, though he stressed that he would never actually do it. In fact, he encouraged Jannah not to hurt anyone. Days after he wrote that, FBI agents swooped in and arrested Rayyan. That's when he learned that the women he'd been texting didn't exist. Ghada and Jannah were fake, pure creations of the FBI. The Bureau had spent an entire year working to entrap a depressed pizza delivery boy and created a honey trap to do it. But it still didn't work. After all that work, the feds still didn't have enough evidence to file terrorism charges against him. Nothing Rayyan had said was criminal. In all, it was a thoroughly disgraceful chapter in the history of federal law enforcement. CNN, to its credit, seemed to understand that at the time. The channel pointed out that the FBI often does more than stop crimes. Sometimes, the FBI creates crimes. Informants and agents don't always play the role of a passive listener. They may offer the suspect the opportunity to participate in a fictitious terror plot, replete with fake bombs and real guns, court records show. And indeed, court records do show that, and it's wrong. A law enforcement agency should never encourage anyone to break the law. It's grotesque, and yet, they routinely do that. CNN once admitted that was happening, and that it was a problem. But they won't admit it anymore. Earlier this week, we reported that, among those who stormed the Capitol on January 6, there appear to be people working for the FBI. We didn't guess that, we concluded it based on the government's own court filings. Dozens of suspects the FBI now says committed serious crimes that day have not been charged with anything or even identified. Why is that? Likely because they were in contact with the FBI before they committed those crimes. That is the definition of corruption. You are working for the FBI, so you're not charged with a crime. It's also, by the way, scary, given the current climate. Given that January 6 is now being used as a pretext to strip law-abiding Americans of their most basic civil liberties. So given that, we have an absolute right to know exactly what happened that day, and the FBI's role in it. We believe the FBI had people on the ground, people who stormed the Capitol and committed crimes while inside. We said that. The FBI has not denied it. In fact, no one from the FBI has even commented on it. They don't have to. This time, they've got CNN squarely on their side.